Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at my run to Battle Legend in Season 6 of Pokemon Go Battle League. And I did hit Battle Legend while running my Open Ultra League team that I made in Season 2, consisting of a Dragon Breath Gyarados, Lapras, and Altered Giratina. And this was my first time hitting 3000 ELO running a team of my own creation, so it did feel especially important and I was really proud of it. So without further ado, let's hop in and take a look at the two sets that got me to Battle Legend. Alright, hopping into the first match here, and of course we are leading our Gyarados into an Obstagoon. My back line is very weak to Obstagoon, so if my opponent has one, I do want them to have it here. They're going straight for the Night Slash, as they should. I had to clear some notifications there, and I'm going straight for the Aqua Tail. I do like to no shield the first Night Slash just in case they get the boost. Fortunately, there was no boost this time. Second Night Slash comes through. I can survive this one as well. So I do like to let that go and then go straight for the Aqua Tail. And if they decide to let this go, this will get them rather low, although they do a very nice catch onto Articuno. Since they're utilizing Articuno as a safe swap, they almost assuredly have Hurricane. I can survive a Hurricane though, so I am going to let that go. I'm going to build up to where Icy Wind would be, and we actually CMP tie. Because I'm totally fine taking an Icy Wind, but I did not want to take another Hurricane. And I'm going straight for the Surf. This is not going to KO, but should hopefully put it into nice farm downrange. And they do get to a second Icy Wind, which I can survive. And so my Lapras is loaded on energy, but I am very debuffed. I do throw the Surf to see if we can get the shield, and then I'm going to switch out here to reset my debuff. I switch back out into Gyarados, and they are able to counter me down, but on the bright side, that energy on Lapras, I am no longer debuffed, so the energy is a lot more useful. Going straight for the Surf, and they're going to attempt to counter me down. Bit of lag there, they're unable to counter me down, and I am able to get to a Surf. This is going to take out the Obstagoon, in comes their Giratina. I bring in my Giratina, and my opponent does resign the match. So a close game there. Unfortunately, there was some lag towards the end, which you never want to see, and I know that servers are down today, so hopefully they are working on that. A Cresselia lead. Cresselia is quite tough in the lead if they have Grass Knot. If they have Moonblast Future Sight, then I can win this in the one shield with how I do like to play it. They shield, and so I'm thinking they may have Future Sight, and they do have Future Sight, so I do shield the Future Sight, which is big. This is just a Moonblast. I can safely let this go, as I can tank one Moonblast, not worried about that. I do build up, and I'm going straight for the Crunch. This will be applying some very heavy pressure, which it does. And the Cresselia is fairly low, so I am going to shield up the Moonblast and farm all the way down, just so I can take Switch. And they bring in a Registeel, so that was definitely the correct play. Since they do have a Registeel in the back, I want that lined up with my Giratina as opposed to my Lapras. So by having Switch advantage, that is really good for me. I do try and get to another Aqua Tail. Unfortunately, I am lock-on down just as I get there. Registeel is loaded on energy. First Flash Cannon coming through, and second one will be arriving shortly. Second one coming through, we can tank two no problem. The third one will get us quite low. And now we're going straight for the Shadow Sneak, and Shadow Sneak is going to be applying some nice pressure onto Registeel, getting it into the red. Able to get to another Shadow Sneak. This is undoubtedly going to be getting that last shield, as the Registeel is full of energy. And they are going to throw. The Flash Cannon takes me out. I instantly go into Lapras, and they bring out a Shadow Swampert. And this is not ideal, because unfortunately, Shadow Swampert does win the Zero Shield, because they can go Earthquake, and then they can go Hydro Cannon, and because of the extra Shadow damage, they're able to CMP tie me on the Surf that would have taken them out and win the game. So very well played to my opponent. I did get the alignment I wanted, but Shadow Swampert with shields down is an absolute force to be reckoned with. Hopping into the next match here against Great Wolf 0822, and they are also an expert. This is going to be a tough fight. This is an Articuno lead. I do really like the Articuno lead. My plan is to lose it, but to hopefully grab a shield. Unfortunately, I do lose some fast moves there. So as you can see, I'm supposed to reach the crunch and I did not. So we're supposed to CMP tie when I hit the crunch, but I lost fast moves. So instead I threw the Aqua Tail so I could still force CMP. Again, I force CMP. If they did decide to throw, they shield and they try and farm me down, which is a mistake on the Articuno's part, because I'm going to get to another Aqua Tail and be able to get them very, very low. Now they're in an uncomfortable position where they can only really get to one charge move. So they are going for the Icy Wind, and then they switch into Lapras. This is really not good for me. Because of that Icy Wind debuff, I now lose this matchup that I normally would win. So I'm in a tough spot. I do decide to build up some extra energy. I let the Surf land, and then I come in with Giratina. At this point, I'm relying on my Lapras with 2 shields to close the match. They do successfully land the Ice Beam. I overfarm on my Giratina, and I am going for the Dragon Claw. We actually get the last shield, which is very interesting. So I'm going for the Dragon Claw again. My goal is to try and do enough chip damage, and they do aggressively swap in their Articuno and take me out with an Icy Wind, which is totally fine. I can farm them down with Lapras, and now we have a 2-0 shield advantage. And Lapras with energy and shields can take on most anything in the game. Their Lapras comes back in. I don't have to shield this Surf, it's really not going to do a lot. And since I don't know what's in back, I do want to save at minimum 1 shield for what's in back. I'm over farming quite a bit. I don't want to be out of energy when whatever's in back switches in. I throw the Surf, and we CMP tie. My Lapras is getting a little low, so I do decide to commit the shield, and it's a Giratina. So they are weak to Lapras in the back. However, we're in a tough spot. This is the Shadow Claw variant. It's going to get to charge moves very, very quickly, and he's almost at 2 charge moves. I let the first one through, and the second one is coming through as well. I'm going to try and overfarm by 2 here, and then throw the Surf. Surf should be enough to take it out at this range, and then if I can get 2 more Ice Shards off, which unfortunately I die as I do the second Ice Shard, so I was almost able to mount a comeback in that game, unfortunately not quite. Shadow Machamp lead. This is very tough. When I've seen Shadow Machamps, it's usually one of 2 lines. It's usually either a double Steel line in back or a double Psychic line. And they save swap into Cresselia, and since they brought out a Psychic type, I'm thinking that they have Armored Mewtwo in the back. So my goal here is to come in with Lapras with a shield advantage, take out the Cresselia, as they go for a Future Sight, so they do not have Grass Knot, which is great, and therefore Giratina will be able to mop up the Armored Mewtwo in the back. I had seen this line 1 or 2 times previously on this night, so that was my hard read, was we were thinking double Psychic. Moonblast, we can successfully tank that. Switch Clock is starting to come up, so it is getting close. Do go for the Surf, and they bring in Machamp, and I bring back my Gyarados. I do decide to call the bait here, and it's a Rock Slide, which is not good. I come in with Giratina, and I'm starting to think the fact that they switched out, maybe they do have Payback Rock Slide, and they do. They're not going to be able to reach a second Payback, so I can farm all the way down, and I'll have a big energy lead for whatever's in back. And it's an Abomasnow. This is going to be a very difficult fight, as Abomasnow can hit us for super effective. But we have a big energy lead, which could help flip this 1 shield scenario. Part of my goal as well is I never quite want him to know how much energy I have. So as you can see, I'm not throwing as soon as I get to 1 move, and I can eat 1 Weather Ball. I really want him to not know that I have 2 here, so I can commit the shield, go back to back, hopefully get him into farm down range for Lapras, and then switch in, so maybe an Ice Shard or 2 if he's slow can take him out. First one, second one coming through. This will get him quite low, and I'm going to aggressively swap. I build up to 2, and then I switch out, just to give myself a little extra energy. Cresselia comes out, go straight for the Surf. This is going to be taking out the Cresselia, didn't want to be hit by a move, and then we're able to Ice Shard down and take the game. So an incredibly close game. We're now 2-2, and This is the deciding game to see if we go positive, and it's a Berserker lead. Berserker leads are something that's become a lot more common lately, especially with Daniel Neary popularizing the heavy damage line. So instantly I'm thinking it's Berserker, Armored Mewtwo, and then either Genesect or Gengar and back. Knowing this team's switch advantage is exceedingly important. I need to win switch advantage. So I'm very much hoping that they let this go. Most Berserkers will shield, but he lets it go, which is a big mistake. Versus my team, heavy damage absolutely needs switch advantage. I'm able to farm down, and now I'm going to be able to line up the Armored Mewtwo on my Giratina, and whether he has Genesect or Gengar and back, Lapras can handle both of those. So from here, the game is won. We land a crunch, which is great. Then we come in with Giratina. Here, I should have baited because he's in a position where a Shadow Sneak could take him out and he has a lot of energy, so he's feeling a lot of pressure there. So he was definitely going to shield, but alas, I did not. That's just one way I could have played this better. Building up, and I'm actually going for the Dragon Claw as he's low enough where Dragon Claw would take him out, which it does. And this is the Genesect version of the line. So at this point, I know the game is over, because Genesect on even shields cannot beat a Lapras. Plus, I'm able to get some chip damage with the Shadow Sneaks. My goal is to stay in to force him to Techno Blast me. However, he baits. I'm not going to shield this. I'm going to make him waste all of his energy, and then if this doesn't kill me, which it does not, I will switch into Lapras, and I should be able to, honestly, Ice Shard him down by the time he does, or by the time that I get to 2 Surfs. I shield up the Techno Blast, he had no reason to bait there, and we are able to Ice Shard down the Genesect and take the win versus heavy damage. So if you are the Berserker there, Berserker hits exceedingly hard and is very good with an energy lead, but it's frail. So you do want to commit shields to your Berserker, and speaking of Berserker, there's another one. So it is becoming a lot more common with the recent Melmetal nerf, and they go for a close combat. So this is a tell that they may be running Iron Head. So in the back, they may have some Pokemon that are weak to Charmers. And they do a really nice catch onto Swampert, as I do throw the Aqua Tail, and I go into Giratina. I do typically use Giratina as my answer to a Swampert swap-in, or sometimes I will stay in. But considering that Giratina doesn't have a great matchup against their lead, which is Berserker, I did switch in the Giratina. Going straight for the Dragon Claw. At this point, I am going to be committing a shield and just farming all the way down. They may be able to get to a Hydro Cannon, but I survived that, and I'm going to be able to really hurt this Berserker because I'm going to have a ton of loaded energy. Berserker is going to be coming back in, and we have back-to-back Shadow Sneaks, which should pressure the health quite a bit and get a shield, because this would take it far too low, so I am fully expecting that shield to come out, which it does, and they are able to Shadow Claw down. I come in with the Gyarados to force them to waste some energy, which they do. It's the Iron Head, and Lapras comes out, and it's a Poliwrath. So unfortunately, I made the incorrect decision. What I should have done when they switched in the Swampert was come in with the Lapras, and then I would have been able to win the game, but unfortunately, hindsight is 20/20. At this point, I have to call the bait. Of course, he doesn't bait, and I'm going to try and call the bait again. And of course, he's not going to bait. So unfortunately, we do take a loss in game 1. We're at 29-67, so we have to win out here. We have to win our remaining 4 games if we want to hit Battle Legend. Next match, Gyarados into another Berserker. That is 3 in a row. This is tough. Instantly, I'm thinking it could be Daniel Neary's line. So switch advantage is going to be important, and we do land the Aqua Tail, and they're building up quite a bit of energy. And let's see, they do go for a close combat. So right away, I'm thinking again, they have Iron Head, as we do get the shield, and they actually stay in, and now they're coming into Cresselia, and I am going for the Crunch. I do want to chip this Cresselia before I do come in with my Giratina. My goal is, since I'm up a shield, I can tank a Moonblast, shield a Moonblast, throw 1 charge move, and then farm all the way down. So that way I will have a lot of energy to throw at this Berserker, which is quite low. And on top of that, if I'm at about half health, since they have, I'm reading they have Ironhead in close combat, and Ironhead is not going to kill me from this range. We're able to farm down. Berserker comes out. At this point, we just have to trust in the read. And we do. It's Ironhead. It does not kill us, and we're able to go for the Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak takes them out. What's in back? It is an Origin Giratina. We come in with the Lapras. I'm fully expecting this to be an Ominous Wind as they are fishing for a boost. Ominous Wind, no boost. At this point, their win condition is to call my bait, so I am not going to bait in this matchup. I am going straight Ice Beam, and that takes them out, and we are able to take the game. So 1 win down. We need to rattle off 3 wins in a row here to take this. Gyarados into Obstagoon. So we're facing a murderer's row of leads right now. As I mentioned in the first battle, as it looks like my opponent actually did miss a counter there. So it looks like that they're 2 turns of energy behind where they should be. Is my backline really does not like Goon. So if I'm going to see one, I like to see it up front. They're going for another Night Slash. I'm going to let this go since they have not gotten a boost. Night Slash coming through. And they do a really nice catch onto Cresselia. They did a very good job of realizing when I was throwing, and I come straight in with Giratina. So Cresselia does have a little bit of chip damage, but unfortunately, now my Gyarados doesn't have as much energy as it did, and I'm probably going to need it to take out the Goon later. Moonblast. We can tank it, and we're going to go straight for the Shadow Sneak. This is not going to be enough to take it out, but it's definitely going to get it into farm down range. So I am going to commit the shield so I can keep switch advantage. Shield with the Moonblast, and farming down. They come in with Goon, and I switch back into Gyarados, because at this point I'm thinking it could be Goon Double Psychic, which we have seen quite a few times. And now I'm going to come in with Lapras and basically use Lapras as a damage sponge. I'm going to try and farm this all the way down and just take cross chop after cross chop because Lapras is incredibly bulky and can take it. Back-to-back cross chops here, and this is going to be getting us into the yellow, but this is what Lapras is here for, to soak damage. They have a Gengar in back. I go straight for the Surf. This is a mistake. I should have built up to the Ice Beam, but my opponent makes an error. They shield the Surf. They can survive a Surf. Surf doesn't do a lot. Shadow Sneak does a lot more. And they really shielded the wrong move. I'm going to call this as just a punch, which it is. And we should simul-feint here, which we do. And now I'm able to come back in with Lapras on the Obstagoon. And Lapras is an Obstagoon counter confirmed. All right, 2 down, 2 to go. This is against the Legend. And I get dodged. Another opponent. And I get dodged. The same guy from the first one, he dodges me. And a 4th person, and this time it errors out. But yeah, so after that battle, I was dodged 3 times and then had an error. So I'm just real nervous. And we get a Cresselia lead. Please no Grass Knot. Please no Grass Knot. Whoever started running Grass Knot Crest, I'm sad because it is a lot worse for my team than the Moonblast and Future Sight variant. We do pick up the shield, and they're going to be going straight for a Moonblast. And Moonblast is going to connect. They are going to outpace us to the next Moonblast, so I am going to want to commit a shield so I can land a crunch. I really don't want a Cresselia with this much health getting to my back line, as that would not be good news for either one of my Pokemon. I go straight for the crunch. That does land. And my opponent is going to throw right away, and this is going to take me out. But this is in farm down range. This is doable. I come in with Giratina, and we are able to farm all the way down. Now we have a Shadow Sneak, and they come in with Registeel. Normally Registeel versus Shadow Claw Altered Giratina in the one shield is a very close match, but we do have an entire Shadow Sneak energy lead. So we should be in a good spot here. They go for the Flash Cannon, that's totally fine. And here I do also want to obfuscate how much energy I have. So I am going to be throwing at odd times, so he's never quite sure how much energy I have. I'm throwing here when I'm at 1.5 Shadow Sneaks. That connects. And so at this point, I do know that whatever's in back is probably weak to Giratina, so my guess is probably a Swampert. Over farming again and going for the Shadow Sneak. And they switch in, yep, it is a Swampert. And so I'm going to provide some chip damage. and then we're going to hop into the Lapras. And with the chip damage, I should be able to land a Surf, and then I may be able to farm all the way down and have some extra energy to throw at the Registeel. Charge move coming through. This is an Earthquake, but it honestly doesn't matter. I don't really want health on my Lapras at this point. My goal is to have the Swampert take me out so I can farm down the Swampert. I do decide to throw just because he has energy and he may shield, and we get the last shield, which is perfect. This is great. I'm going to no shield this. I want to be taken out, but they bait me. And then they bring in the Registeel. Registeel's low enough where I can shield this up, and I should be able to Ice Shard down the Registeel and throw a Surf onto the Swampert. And my opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. So 3 down, 1 to go, up against the final Gatekeeper and a Scavalier lead. And they're going to save swap into Suicune. Suicune, I am very much unfamiliar with in the Ultra League, so I do decide to chip it with Crunch and then come in with Lapras. Unfortunately, this does put our switch timers offset, which my opponent is going to take really good advantage of in this game. But I just don't see a lot of Suicunes. For most Pokemon, I have a definitive plan, so I can switch very quickly. But Suicune threw me off, I'll be honest. So nice job on my opponent. I do build up to 2 because I want a lot of energy in case the Scavalier comes back, which it does. And so now I'm at a Surf plus 1 Ice Shard. And my switch timer is coming up. And I'm able to switch out, and I am able to defer the counter onto Giratina. So I have like a 1 HP Lapras with a Surf in the back, ready to be a sack or to get some extra damage. They go for the Acid Spray, and I call the bait. And now I'm just going straight for the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail lands, we're able to finish it off. What do they have in the back for me? It's a Togekiss. This is really bad. I have Giratina in the back. And due to the Acid Spray, I'm going to be taken out before I can get to 2 Aqua Tails. I get the shield with 1. I still have that Surf, remember? So I'm going for the Surf, hoping this will land or get the second shield, and it gets the second shield. Okay, we have 2 shields and a Shadow Claw Giratina versus a Charmer. But this is Togekiss. Togekiss is not very bulky. We land the first Shadow Sneak, and they're below half health. This is doable. I'm holding my energy, and they switch in Suicune. Okay, and they throw. If this is a Bubble Beam, I'm in a lot of trouble here. I needed to not. It's the Ice Beam. At this point, I think my play is to farm down. We're able to farm down. We have 2 Shadow Sneaks loaded. He throws. If this is the Ancient Power and he gets the boost, I lose. Aerial Ace, no boost. Going for the Shadow Sneak. We have 2 lined up, and it takes him out, and we are able to clutch up 4 games in a row to hit Battle Legend. You can see here we were at 29.67, and a 4-1 takes us to 30-13 and secures Battle Legend. I did want to say big thanks to everyone who has supported me throughout Season 6 with reaching this journey, and all the awesome content creators that I've met and gotten to hang out with as well, like Kevin Saladeris, Mark Sun IRL, and so many more. And a big thank you to all the people who have been watching me as well. This season's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of memes, fun times and tough times, but we did it. We are Battle Legend. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, definitely hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video.